can't have some airy-fairy statements around business concepts that aren't backed up by how you're actually going to do it. If you remember, the difference between the concept and the business model is, if the concept is about, what are you trying to build, the business model is a little bit more about how you're actually going to get there. Well, the first week of the program is pretty intense for the guys, given this is a week where they need to crack their business concept and they start to work on their business model. When we think about business models, we like to parallel it to creating your own recipe, where they've got to cook up their value proposition, their delivery proposition, and their financial proposition. In order to do that, we use our tool called the Business Model Blueprint, which essentially takes them through some specific areas which helps them focus on the big picture and some of the out-of-the-box ideas, but also starts to get them to think about some of the granularity to make sure that the model is going to be investable and scalable. But you know what? There's something in that concept. It's not the weakest.
The first point of call for the Blue team was to consider the pain points of their potential customers by drawing on their first-hand experience of team captain and small business owner, Scott.
And say, well, every time you check your credit rating, it actually brings your credit score down. Personal strengths relating to the challenge would be, I am a small business owner and I am a perfect candidate for eCred. I have no credit rating and I do need a loan, so I'm perfect.
Sensing the enormous opportunity in the exciting and growing area of financial tech, the Red team were busy trying to narrow the focus of their target markets.
We came up with the concept of becoming a lender, focusing on fast loans for the small and medium enterprise. And that was the focus last week, and I think we've changed track. We're now going more into data play, where we're going to capture the data from the customer and then become relevant to them in 2 points.
After spending only a limited time together as a team, participants were learning about each other's strengths and weaknesses, as well as figuring out where they themselves would be able to add the greatest value.
I think one of my strengths is going to be getting into the detail and really looking at everything that we've gathered from a perspective of, do all of these pieces fit together? Is there a coherent story here? I think one of my weaknesses is definitely going to be staying focused, because I have so many ideas going through my head at any one time. I'm always distracting myself, and that probably ends up being a distraction to the team as well. So keeping focused is going to be the main challenge.
So a typical thing in my family too.
Early in the week, the teams were given a mentoring session from behavioural expert and CEO of the Impossible Institute, Dan Gregory.
And people said, yeah, logically, I think recycling is a terrific idea. I think the biggest mistake that people make in the ideation part of business is they think ideas are enough. They think it's all about the idea. The idea is about a third of the process. It's actually, your capacity to sell is far more important. I do a lot of work with scientists, and the issue with scientists is they'd rather be right than rich, because they come from an academic world where being right is actually how you get ahead. And then they get upset that the general public isn't buying into their message. Our capacity to sell is far more important. In fact, there are products that aren't as good that are being developed by people who are really good at selling, and they're the ones that dominate in the market. It's never the best product that succeeds, typically. I think the most critical thing I talked about with the guys today was this idea of knowing what business you're really in. Because I think a lot of us know the product that we produce, or we know the service that we provide, but the business you're actually in is all about the value exchange that's going on between you and your customers. So I think that that's a critical conversation for these guys to have, is to have a real sense of what are they actually delivering? Because it's rarely about the product. It's mostly about the outcome that the customer gets to experience, or the identity that they get to live into, the reputation that they build and how they reflect themselves to their peers.
With some sage advice from the experts, the founders now needed to put the words into action.
Coming up with concepts and ideas has been challenging, because you pitch it to people that you respect and would like you to get validation from it, as in one person's opinion may be good idea, go with it, run with the idea, and then 5 minutes later you might just pitch it to the next person just to get a further validation, and they say, no, I don't like the idea, it might not work. So the challenge is getting the right information, or validating the information from people you respect. We ended up having the same idea to two people. One loved it, one hated it. and we went with our gut.
One of the things that these guys are going to quickly realise is that making decisions is one of the most important skills that any entrepreneur is going to learn. So they're going to get conflicting information from advisors and experts, but at the end of the day it's their business and they're going to have to make the decision.
This week's pitch is a spill and fill. The losing teams today will be absorbed by the 3 remaining teams and their business ideas.
We're confident, actually. There's a two-pronged approach to our model, which we'll explain.
Our business model is very good. We've got some really interesting elements in terms of the revenue model.
We definitely know the numbers can work, and very quickly.
I'm really nervous.
Mike and the yellow team were up to pitch first.
Creditability is a concept that combines a whole lot of disruptive ideas that are present in the world right now. There are other players in our space doing it.
Next, it was Van and the red team's turn to pitch.
So we're very clear on this is fun and exciting and can do for small business financial data what Fitbit did for exercise. Nothing else really matters.
Esther and the team for B-Cred stepped up to present.
They're human. They have a strong identity. They're unique. And we want to celebrate that. It's all about that thumbprint.
We are offering access to working capital to our small businesses.
We've heard a lot about the research and lending methodology and credit methodology.
After seeing how high the bar had been set by competing teams, Kylie was wishing the green team had enlisted the help of a freelance designer for their presentation.
Presentations were so professional, and mine looks like something you would take to a kindergarten to present to 5-year-old. Our concept is to be the financial advisor for SMEs that provides them with a friendly alternative for finance.
With all presentations now complete, the teams awaited the announcement from the judges on which business model would not go through.
The yellow team, who actually started, we thought that you did a good explanation around the risk management. Blue team, I thought that your model was a little less clear than the yellow teams. However, all of the judges liked the fact that you had a really good big picture focus. Green team, you guys were the hardest team to rate for us today. I actually kind of got excited at the start, Kylie, when you were talking about a diversified model with lending and risk ball, but then guys, you lost it. I'm really sorry, red, because honestly, absolutely spectacular performance today.
Green had been spilled into the remaining teams. Kylie went to the red team, Jacobus to the yellow, and Dixon to the blue.
I just lost.
Van and her team in the red team were just absolutely spectacular. They came up with a business concept which was innovative, it was exciting, it was actually differentiated, and more importantly, it was sexy, and we know we could market it.